Have you ever dealt with someone so entitled, so demanding, that you just wished you could give them exactly what they were asking for, even if it was the worst possible thing? I did. Her name was Karen. Well, Brenda, actually. But trust me, Karen fits better. And she demanded the VIP treatment at my restaurant. So I gave it to her. Right next to the constantly slamming, deafeningly loud kitchen doors. The look on her face when she realized? Priceless. And the sound of those doors became the sweet, sweet music of justice served piping hot. My dream wasn't fame or fortune, not really. It was built with reclaimed timber, exposed brick, sweat, and the kind of exhaustion that feels good because you're building something real. I'm Mark, and for 5 years, the Copper Spoon has been my life. It's a neighborhood bistro, the kind of place I always wanted to eat at, warm, inviting, buzzing with happy chatter, serving food made with care. It's my name on the lease, my savings sunk into the vintage light fixtures, my pride on every plate that leaves the kitchen. And because it's mine, I don't hide in an office. You'll find me running food, clearing tables, talking to guests, making sure everything flows. I started as a dishwasher 15 years back, scraped my way up. I know what my team goes through. The pressure of a Saturday night rush, the ache in their feet after a long shift. They're not just employees. Most nights, we feel more like a slightly chaotic family. As a guy who's cleaned grease traps at dawn, I protect my people and this place fiercely. We'd build a good reputation, honest food, fair prices, a spot where people felt comfortable and welcome. Reservations became essential on weekends. Life had a good rhythm, comfortable, stable. Then the rhythm shattered the night she first walked in. It was a typical Friday, controlled chaos. Every table packed, the air thick with the delicious smells of garlic, roasting meat, and simmering sauces. Maya, my rockstar hostess, was managing the small queue at the door with her usual grace under pressure. That's when the door swung open, bringing a blast of cold air and an unmistakable aura of impending doom. Even across the bustling dining room, she stood out. Not just the razor-sharp blonde bob or the oversized sunglasses worn like a shield indoors at night. Not just the pristine, expensive athleisure wear that screamed, "I don't sweat, I merely critique." It was the way she scanned the room, not with anticipation, but with judgment. Like a queen surveying unsatisfactory peasants. She ignored the waiting line completely, marching straight to Maya. I couldn't catch the words initially, but I saw Maya's polite smile become strained. I saw Karen gesture dismissively, her posture radiating impatience. Maya shook her head, probably explaining the wait, maybe offering the bar. Karen's voice rose, sharp enough to cut through the ambient noise. That was my cue. Trouble brewing, aisle 3. I moved towards the front as Karen pointed a perfectly manicured, cherry-red nail towards table 12, a prime booth occupied by a couple mid-appetizer, clearly enjoying a date night. "That one," Karen declared, loud enough for table 12 and several others nearby to hear distinctly. "I want that table. Move them." Maya looked momentarily stunned, then glanced at me with a silent plea for backup. "I'm very sorry, ma'am," Maya said, keeping her composure brilliantly. "That table is currently seated, and we do have a wait list. It's about a 45-minute wait for a booth tonight." Karen let out a scoff that sounded like tearing silk. 45 minutes? Don't be absurd. They look practically finished. Tell them their time is up. Some of us have important places to be. The couple at table 12 were now staring, forks frozen halfway to their mouths, expressions shifting from confusion to annoyance. I stepped smoothly beside Maya, putting on my best owner is here to help face. "Good evening," I said, keeping my voice calm and welcoming. "I'm Mark, the owner. Welcome. It's a busy night, as you can see. All our tables are occupied at the moment. Maya can certainly add you to our wait list, or we can see if seats open at the bar. She subjected me to a slow, critical head-to-toe scan, as if verifying my qualifications to even speak to her. The owner? The word dripped with skepticism. Well, owner, your staff seems incapable of fulfilling a simple seating request. I require that booth. She gestured again, more emphatically. My time is extremely valuable. Okay, deep breaths, Mark. Customer service mode engaged. Ma'am, with respect, that table belongs to the guests currently dining there. Asking seated customers to leave or move isn't something we do. It wouldn't be fair. My voice was low but firm. Nearby conversations had quieted. We were unintentionally becoming the floor show. Fair. She laughed again, that humorless bark. What's fair is accommodating a customer willing to spend money. What's not fair is this incompetence. We value all our guests, I replied, the smile feeling painted on. And valuing them means letting them finish their meal in peace. The options are the wait list, or potentially the bar. Which would you prefer? Arms crossed tightly over her chest. Foot tapping impatiently. Lips pursed into a razor-thin line. This is utterly unacceptable service. Do you have any idea who I am? There it was. The line. The calling card of the truly entitled. I resisted the urge to say, no, and frankly I don't care. Instead, I said, I see a potential guest who wants to dine with us, and I'm explaining the current seating situation, the wait list or the bar. A long, assessing stare. A glance at Maya's unwavering professional face. Another glare towards the increasingly uncomfortable couple in the booth. Finally, a dramatic, world-weary sigh that seemed to suck all the oxygen out of the immediate vicinity. Fine. Your ridiculous list. But I'm noting this down. Terrible first impression. She didn't retreat to the designated waiting area. Oh no. She planted herself near the host stand, radiating displeasure like a faulty heater, occasionally shooting venomous looks towards table 12. The initial clash was over, but the air remained thick with tension. This wasn't just a demanding customer. This felt like the prologue to a saga I didn't want to star in. Why did I have the distinct feeling this was only Act 1? My gut feelings, honed by years in the chaotic restaurant world, rarely lied. Brenda, the name I eventually learned, though Karen remained her spiritual designation in my mind, didn't just vanish after that first disastrous entrance. She became a recurring character in the Copper Spoon drama. A regular, in the worst sense of the word. Her appearances, usually once every week or two, always coincided with our busiest periods. It was like she had a sixth sense for peak chaos. The staff developed a coded warning system. Condition Karen is approaching the entrance. Maya might murmur into the comms, triggering a collective internal groan across the floor and kitchen. Her arrival was always preceded by the sight of her gleaming white behemoth of an SUV taking up 2 parking spots. Her list of complaints grew into an epic poem of dissatisfaction. One night, the soup was allegedly tepid, despite steam visibly rising from it. The next visit, her salad had too much green stuff. Seriously, the music volume was a constant source of friction, oscillating between funeral dirge and rock concert in her descriptions, regardless of the actual decibel level. She once interrogated Liam, a seasoned server, for 5 full minutes about the exact origin of the parsley garnish. She'd find fault with everything, yet she kept returning. It was perplexing. Was she a masochist? Did she secretly love our food but couldn't admit it? Or was the real draw the perverse pleasure she took in making others uncomfortable? I started noticing regulars, people I knew by name, subtly shifting in their seats or rolling their eyes when Karen started her performance at a nearby table. Her negativity was a palpable cloud. Her special venom seemed reserved for Sarah, the sweet college kid working part-time. Maybe Karen sensed her youthful insecurity and saw an easy target. She'd criticized Sarah's nail polish, unprofessional, her friendly demeanor, insincere, her speed, glacial. The snapping fingers incident became infamous among the staff. Snapping fingers at a server in this century. Then came the night Sarah fled to the back, fighting back tears. I found her leaning against the stainless steel prep table, shoulders shaking. "Table 4. She choked out. "Brenda." She called me incompetent loud enough for the whole section to hear, because I forgot her extra lemon wedge immediately. She said maybe I should find a job that doesn't require brain cells. A hot spike of anger shot through me. Protecting my staff wasn't just policy. It was personal. "Okay, deep breath," I told Sarah gently. "Go get some water. Regroup for 5 minutes. I've got this." I approached table 4 with a carefully neutral expression. Brenda was dining alone, poking suspiciously at her salmon fillet. "Brenda, is there a problem with your meal?" I asked, keeping my tone level. She looked up, affecting surprise. "Mark, just commenting to myself on the surprising lack of attentiveness tonight. My server seems completely overwhelmed. Forgot my lemon. Took forever with the water refill. Standards are definitely slipping." "Sarah is an excellent server," I stated, my voice quiet but hard. "And while mistakes can happen on a busy night, personal insults towards my staff are unacceptable. We maintain a respectful environment here." She raised that perfectly plucked eyebrow. "Respectful? Is it respectful to provide subpar service? Perhaps if you trained your staff better, you wouldn't need to defend their incompetence." My hands wanted to curl into fists. The urge to tell her exactly where she could stick her lemon wedge was strong. But the potential fallout, the inevitable online smear campaign, the hassle, held me back. Bad reviews, even baseless ones, could hurt. "I expect basic courtesy from everyone in this restaurant," I said firmly, toward staff and fellow guests. She just smirked, a thin, unpleasant smile. "Duly noted, owner." She dismissed me with a wave and returned her attention to her phone, pointedly ignoring me. I walked away, frustration simmering just below the surface. How much were we supposed to tolerate? It was soon after this that her VIP table obsession began. She cornered me near the bar, her voice laced with manufactured grievance. "Mark, darling," she began, a tone that always set my teeth on edge. "We need to talk. This seating arrangement, it's simply not working for me. Constantly near noisy children or drafty doors. I require something befitting." Internal sigh. "Here we go. Brenda, we discussed this. We're a bistro, not a private club. We don't have designated VIP areas. Every guest gets the best table available when they arrive." "Don't be deliberately obtuse," she snapped, dropping the fake sweetness. "Some guests are more valuable. Guests with discernment. Guests like me. I need a guaranteed table. Something private, quiet, away from the general population." She wrinkled her nose as a nearby family laughed. This became her battle cry. Every visit started with it. "Mark, is my VIP table ready? The exclusive one I requested." Loudly, always loudly, making sure other waiting patrons heard. "Surely you prioritize your loyal customers." I tried reason. I sketched the floor plan on a napkin once, showing her how dedicating a prime table was impossible logistically and unfair financially. She waved it away. Logic was irrelevant. Entitlement was everything. "A good manager finds solutions," she insisted. Then, she pointed towards the back. "What about that little alcove? Over there, by that swinging door? It looks quite separate. Very private." My brain stuttered for a second. The alcove? She meant the barren patch of floor directly flanking the double-action doors to the kitchen. the absolute epicenter of noise and traffic. The portal to clanging pans, shouting cooks, and servers sprinting in and out. It was the polar opposite of quiet and private. "Brenda," I said slowly, carefully. "That spot is literally right beside the main kitchen thoroughfare. It's probably the loudest part of the restaurant. Constant doors swinging, staff traffic. It's really not a dining area." That dismissive hand wave again. Her signature move. Details, Mark, mere details. What matters is that it's separate. It feels exclusive. That's the key. Privacy. She leaned in, lowering her voice to a conspiratorial whisper. "Listen, I'm bringing someone very important here next week. Someone I need to impress. Significantly. I demand, my VIP table be ready. That secluded one near the back service entrance. We understand each other, yes." And just like that, the clouds parted. A glorious, slightly wicked idea bloomed in my mind. She wanted separation. Exclusivity. Near the back service entrance? Didn't care about the noise? Needed to impress someone? Oh, I understood perfectly. She had just handed me the perfect recipe for disaster. Her disaster. Served exactly as ordered. The plan wasn't complex. It was elegant in its simplicity. Malicious compliance at its finest. She wanted that specific, terrible spot. She'd get it. She dismissed the noise warnings. She'd experienced them. In full stereo. I didn't need major renovations. Just props. I retrieved our smallest, most forlorn-looking two-top table from the storage room. It had a slight wobble, perfect for adding that extra touch of unsettling instability. Then, a pristine white tablecloth, starched just a little too stiffly, giving it an air of trying too hard. 2 basic chairs, and the crowning glory, a cheap, plastic reserved sign. I toyed with adding VIP in glitter pen but decided against it. Subtlety, or the appearance of it, was key. The sheer absurdity of placing a reserved sign on this table, in this godforsaken location, would speak volumes. I pulled Maya and Liam, my most senior and unflappable server, aside. "Okay, team," I said, struggling to keep the grin off my face. "Operation Nightingale is a go." I'd nicknamed her Nightingale in my head, ironically. When Brenda arrives asking for her special VIP table, you know, the one she keeps demanding near the kitchen. Maya's eyes lit up with understanding. "You don't mean—" "Oh, I absolutely mean," I confirmed. Leader right there. With utmost professionalism, explained that the owner personally arranged this exclusive, private table for her, exactly where she requested it, near the back service entrance. Liam let out a low whistle. "Boss, she's going to detonate. Like full-scale meltdown." "That," I said, my smile finally breaking through, "is the expected outcome. She asked for it. Repeatedly. Dismissed every warning. Let the location speak for itself. Your job. Stay polite. Stay professional. Let her hang herself with her own entitled rope." We prepped for her arrival like actors waiting for their cue. Thursday passed uneventfully. Then came Friday. Peak rush, the restaurant humming like a finely tuned engine, the kitchen already a whirlwind of controlled frenzy. Ideal conditions. Right on schedule, the white SUV pulled into its customary 2 spots. "Nightingale has landed," Maya announced quietly over the headset. "Guest in tow." Brenda swept in, sunglasses firmly affixed, her guest trailing slightly behind her. He was a man in a sharp suit, looking around the bustling room with an air of slight bewilderment, like he'd expected something grander. Brenda, however, radiated smug certainty. She bypassed the line, naturally, homing in on the host stand like a heat-seeking missile. "Mark," she called out, spotting me directing servers near the pass. Her voice dripped with anticipated triumph. "My table. The special one. Is it prepared? As we discussed." She gestured vaguely towards the ill-fated back corner. Her guest looked increasingly uncomfortable with the public announcement. I approached, summoning my most accommodating expression. "Brenda, good evening, and welcome to your guest." I nodded towards the suit. "Yes, absolutely. We took care of it. Your exclusive table is ready. Right this way." I gave Maya the nod. She grabbed 2 menus, her face a mask of serene professionalism. "If you'll follow me, please," she said, her voice perfectly even. She led them away from the warm glow of the main dining room, past the coveted booths, past the charming window tables deeper into the less glamorous service artery of the restaurant. Brenda walked with her chin held high, practically preening. I saw her shoot a triumphant glance back at a couple waiting for a regular table. Her guest, however, seemed to shrink slightly as the ambient buzz faded, replaced by the clatter and shouts filtering from the approaching kitchen doors. They rounded the final corner, and there it sat, in magnificent, awkward isolation. The wobbly table, the starchy cloth, the sad little reserved sign gleaming under the harsh glare of a nearby utility light. It was positioned mere inches from the relentless swinging ballet of the stainless steel kitchen doors. Wham! As if on cue, a busboy burst through the outdoor, empty tray rattling, letting the door swing back with violent momentum. Slam! Brenda froze. Mid-stride, the smugness evaporated from her face, replaced by a comical mask of disbelief, rapidly morphing into dawning horror. Her guest simply stared. At the table, at the furiously swinging doors, at the proximity to the barely concealed kitchen chaos. His eyebrows disappeared into his hairline. "This," Brenda stammered, pointing a now trembling finger. The cherry-red nail quivered. "This is the table? My VIP table." "Indeed," Maya chirped, placing the menus down with a soft thud that was immediately drowned out by the next-door slam. "Exactly as you specified. Near the back service entrance, for maximum privacy and exclusivity. Mr. Owner wanted to ensure your request was met precisely." Whoosh clang! A server carrying a precarious stack of hot plates pushed through the iron door, letting it swing wildly close to Brenda's elbow. Bang! The noise level here wasn't just loud, it was aggressive. You could feel the floor vibrate, slightly, with each impact. A wave of heat, smelling faintly of fryer oil and dishwasher steam, washed over them. Brenda's face cycled through shades of red, settling on an alarming mottled purple. Privacy. Exclusivity. This is practically inside the damn kitchen. It's a bloody service corridor. But the noise, I interjected, stepping closer, my face a study in helpful concern. You specifically said the kitchen noise wasn't an issue, remember? You prioritized the separation, the location near the service entrance. We have staff who recall the conversation. I nodded towards Liam, who was meticulously polishing a wine glass nearby, seemingly oblivious, but undoubtedly enjoying the show. "We just wanted to fulfill your requirements for your very important guest." I offered the bewildered man in the suit my most sincere smile. Wham! Another server, another near miss. Slam! "Order up, table 7, bellowed a voice from within the kitchen inferno. The guest looked from Brenda's apoplectic face to my helpful one, then back to the sheer chaotic impracticality of the table. "Brenda," he said, his voice dangerously low and tight. "What in God's name is this?" Brenda rounded on me, her voice escalating into a shriek that momentarily competed with the kitchen noise. "This is an outrage, a deliberate, calculated insult. How dare you humiliate me like this? This is the worst, most disgusting table in this entire establishment." "The worst?" I feigned shock. "But Brenda, you insisted. This exact spot, despite warnings. You wanted exclusive, near the service door. We accommodated you. My calmness seemed to fuel her rage. Clatter smash. A cascade of falling metal bowls from inside the kitchen provided a perfect percussive accompaniment. The guest had reached his limit. "Brenda," he stated flatly, stepping decisively away from the cursed table. "I believe dinner is off. This is unacceptable." He looked utterly mortified, his face flushed. "No." Brenda practically clawed at his arm. "Don't you dare leave. He did this on purpose. To humiliate me." She spun back towards me, eyes blazing with impotent fury. "You think you're clever, don't you? You think this is funny. I will destroy this place. I'll write reviews that will shut you down. I'll tell everyone I know." "You are free to write whatever you feel is appropriate, Brenda," I replied, my voice still maddeningly calm. "Perhaps include the part where you demanded this specific, noisy location against advice. We simply provided the exclusive experience you requested." Wham slam. The doors offered their final punctuation mark. Her guest yanked his arm free with surprising force. "Brenda, I'm leaving. Now. Don't contact me again." Without a backward glance, he turned and strode rapidly towards the exit, weaving through the tables of now openly staring diners. Brenda stood there, momentarily stunned into silence, watching her important guest flee. The humiliation washed over her face, followed by pure, undiluted rage. She let out a strangled, animalistic sound, half sob, half scream. She shot one last venomous glare at the wobbly table, the swinging doors, and me. Then, uttering a final, incoherent shriek that blended perfectly with a call for "Pickup line 2," she spun around and bolted after him, her expensive handbag flailing like a distressed propeller. Silence descended on our little corner of the restaurant, or rather, the human silence. The kitchen doors continued their rhythmic wham-slam, oblivious. Then, from a nearby table, a single person started clapping slowly. Soon, several other diners joined in with soft applause and appreciative chuckles. Liam strolled over, a wide grin finally breaking through his professional facade. "Well played, boss. Well played." Maya returned to the host's stand, adjusting her posture, but the corners of her mouth twitched upwards. "Shall I clear the VIP table?" she asked, her voice laced with amusement. A gentleman from the table next to the incident zone caught my eye as I passed. "Best dinner show I've seen in years," he winked. She had that coming. I just smiled, a genuine, relieved smile this time. "We aim to provide memorable experiences," I murmured. Brenda did indeed leave a vitriolic one-star review, full of vague accusations about management abuse and unhygienic seating, conveniently omitting her role in selecting said seating. But word travels fast in a neighborhood. Several regulars, hearing the story, posted glowing 5-star reviews shortly after, praising the service, the food, and obliquely referencing the perfect handling of a difficult situation. Her negative review drowned in a sea of positive ones. We never saw Brenda again. The ban was official, but entirely unnecessary. I doubt she could ever show her face in the Copper Spoon, or possibly even the neighborhood, again after that spectacular implosion. The legend of the Brenda Special was born that night. It became staff code for any ridiculously entitled request, a reminder that sometimes the most satisfying solution is simply to give people exactly what they think they want, especially when they haven't bothered to listen. The constant wham-slam of those kitchen doors, once just background noise, now occasionally sounded like applause. Team morale soared. There was a lightness in the restaurant for weeks afterward. The toxic energy finally purged. And me, I learned that while owning a restaurant is tough, protecting its peace and your sanity sometimes requires a touch of creative accommodation. Justice, it turns out, is a dish best served noisy.